Welcome folks to a brand new episode of CNB. I am Siddharth Vinayak Partner and we are back with the Mahindra Thar. You may wonder why. It's not a sales milestone, it's not a new variant. All the excitement around the vehicle remains. It's only going to get bigger because now it has another feather in its cap. The new generation has scored big on safety, and that is our top story this week.
The new generation Mahindra Thar SUV has been crash tested by global NCAP and has scored 4 stars for adult occupant protection.
That makes the Thar India's safest off-roader and also the second Mahindra vehicle to receive 4 stars. Now surprisingly, it also got 4 stars in child occupant protection, and it is the highest aggregate score there from any of the cars that have been tested by global NCAP.
Global NCAP's Alejandro Furas said, "This test shows that it is possible to offer good safety performance in the Indian market. It is encouraging to see manufacturers that also offer high levels of protection for children traveling in their vehicles."
Safety of our vehicle occupants has never been second priority to us. Though it's becoming much more in highlight, visible because of star rating. We were one of the early adopters of putting in airbags.
Yes.
So it's not that the safety has suddenly become important for us, but what has changed is that now we have much better tools and much better technical knowledge to put in safety in all aspects of the vehicle.
The Thar was tested with its standard safety equipment that includes dual airbags and ABS or anti-lock brakes. We would like to clarify that the test applies to the soft-top version of the car too, as even its retrofitted hardtop is not a structural element. In the frontal test, the adult crash test dummies showed the car offering adequate protection to the head, neck and chest area. The driver side footwell though was rated unstable, and this was the only reason that the Thar missed out on a likely 5-star score. The footwell was not deemed as dangerous, however, as global NCAP clarified to carandbike. The result was some injury seen on the knee area. Overall, the Thar's body shell did receive a stable rating. The car was tested for side impact protection as well and meets the UN 95 regulation for the same. On child occupant protection, the car came closer still to a 5-star score. The front-facing bench offers ISOFIX child seat anchors and 3-point seat belts for rear passengers. The Thar's test showed nearly complete protection for child occupants. The significant development here is that for this score to hold as valid, Mahindra must offer this configuration as standard, meaning the variant with side-facing seats without seat belts has been phased out. While ESC or electronic stability control is not standard on the Thar, the car's ESC variant was tested for its stability, and here the result was not satisfactory. Although the car meets minimum regulatory requirements, it displayed an unstable dynamic behavior that will need some improvement.
Mahindra says it's already assessing the results to quickly make the changes that are necessary, and it's also considering making ESC standard on the Thar.
The Thar is the 4th Mahindra model to be tested by global NCAP under its Safer Cars for India program. The Scorpio was the first in 2016 and it received a 0-star rating. But since then, Mahindra has really turned things around, in fact even committing that no new model thereon would drop below 4 stars. The Marazzo was tested in 2018 and brought M&M its first 4 stars. And then, in January this year, we had the XUV300 get not only 5 stars, but also achieve the highest aggregate score for any Indian-made vehicle. The only other cars from India with 5 stars are the Tata Altroz and Nexon. No global OEM's Indian operations have produced a 5-star car as yet in India. Other made in India cars with a 4-star score have been the Maruti Suzuki Vitara Brezza, Tata Tiago and Tigor and Zest, the Toyota Etios Leva and Volkswagen Polo.
So could we get a 5-star Thar? Well, it might happen sooner than you think. Now, let's move on to the cruiser from BMW, the R18. Yes, a cruiser from BMW. Sounds a little strange because it has happened after a long time. It's got a whole lot of chrome, more than a lot of BMW bikes put together, but it's been done well. It looks gorgeous, and Preetam had quite a ball spending some time with it.
Dollops of gleaming chrome, all metal, shining black body with a rumbling twin-cylinder engine and the open road. It's the stuff of motorcycle dreams, or motorcycling as Hollywood and the American motorcycling industry would like you to believe. But this one here is not your quintessential all-American cruiser.
If you're a 007 fan, you'd remember a BMW cruiser motorcycle from a 1990s Bond movie. Or you could Google Tomorrow Never Dies and you'll be treated to a 5-minute long chase sequence on that BMW R12 and see the first cruiser from BMW Motorrad. But that was in 1997. Now 20 years later, we have this, the all-new BMW R18.
It's a magnificent looking motorcycle from all angles. The huge cylinders of the Boxer twin engine stick out on both sides, covered in gleaming chrome. The round headlight has retro appeal, but the headlight is LED, giving it that contemporary touch. And it also features adaptive turning light while cornering. The circular instrument console also looks classic, but the small digital screen adds modernity and access to all the information and features, including the somewhat quirkily named riding modes: rock, roll and rain. But there's no mistaking the classic lines of the R18 with touches of heritage which are all too obvious. The classic fishtail exhausts, the white pinstriping on the fuel tank are all signs of BMW's legacy, going back 90 years to the BMW motorcycles from the 1930s. More specifically, the R18 actually pays homage to the 1936 BMW R5. And it's down to the details, including the swing arm triangle and the concealed rear shock, giving the R18 a hardtail look. And what's also cool is the exposed drive shaft, another throwback to BMW bikes from almost a century ago.
The first thing that strikes you is that this motorcycle is huge. And it's not just the length and the sheer size of it. The moment you straddle it, you'll feel its weight. All of 345 kgs only. And of course, you'll be drawn to these huge cylinders, displacing all of 1800cc, horizontally opposed Boxer twin, one cylinder here, one cylinder there. And when you thumb the starter, you'll be shaken and stirred, quite literally. Allow me to demonstrate.
The R18 has the largest Boxer twin ever designed and manufactured by BMW, displacing all of 1802cc, that's a whooping 901cc in each cylinder. On the move, the big boxer smoothens out immediately. And in terms of performance, there's no mistaking that it's a modern BMW. There's plenty of torque available right from idle, and it urges you to short shift and ride the torque rather than chase the revs. But the hardtail look also has a hardtail feel, so it's best to slow down when the going gets rough. But out on a long smooth highway, it will cruise happily with gleaming chrome drawing attention to its period correct looks. If you do like to chase the revs, some vibes will kick in from the big boxer at over 3500 RPM. But the R18 is best enjoyed at lower revs, and it will cruise all day effortlessly at triple digit speeds.
So the 1800cc Boxer twin is a torque mill, so it makes about 158 Newton meters of torque at 3000 RPM, and over 100 Newton meters of that is available from as low as 2500 RPM right up to 4000 RPM. What that means in the real world is that you can short shift, reach 100 kilometers per hour in no time and sit at 140 kilometers per hour all day long. Only issue is the wind blast will get to you. And it's a heavy bike, of course, and it can take on the twisties quite nicely. But the foot peg clearance is somewhat limiting factor. So when you take a corner, you'll end up scraping both sides of the foot pegs very soon. But it's a beautiful, beautiful machine. Looks absolutely fantastic. A modern classic in the true sense. And if you're in the market for a cruiser, this one should be on your top 5 list right now.
There's also automatic stability control, hill start control, as well as engine drag torque control to make riding the R18 an effortless and safe experience. The standard R18 is priced at 18,90,000 rupees, and the R18 First Edition with more chrome and heritage touches is priced at 21,90,000 rupees. At those prices, what the R18 offers is a gorgeous cruiser, German built, but with American cruiser appeal. It's stable and planted on a long straight road. The engine is torquey and feels effortless at all speeds. And despite its size and weight, the R18 handles beautifully. But the foot peg clearance somewhat robs you of the joy of exploring the bike's dynamics. So if you're expecting a sporty ride experience, you'd best look elsewhere. But despite its flaws, the R18 offers an almost perfect neo-retro cruiser. It's a guaranteed head turner, and it begins to grow on you the more time you spend in the saddle.
AMG, the performance brand from Mercedes, has been an integral part of the company's plan in India over the last few years. There are more takers for performance cars and SUVs now than ever before, and that has resulted in a rather significant development. Now, Mercedes has brought a lot of AMG models to India over the years. But the GLC43 that you see standing next to me, it is somewhat special. Why? Because this is the first AMG model to be assembled in India. Now that is exciting, and that also translates into aggressive pricing. It also proves the fact that Mercedes is very excited about growing the AMG brand in India. Now Siddharth brought you the first look of the AMG GLC43 Coupe SUV. but I get to review it and I cannot wait to begin. The GLC43 gets a 3-litre V6 engine that pumps out a massive 382 brake horsepower between 5500 and 6100 RPM, and the peak torque output is rated at 520 Newton meters, which comes in at a low 2500 RPM. With a claimed acceleration run of 4.9 seconds from standstill to 100 km per hour and an electronically limited top speed of 250 km per hour, has to be a hoot and a half, right? It is an AMG after all, and if you want to explore the wild side of it, you will not want to stop. The overrun, the pops and crackles as you shift at high revs, it's like literally music to the ears. And even the exhaust note, well, it's like mellifluous rendition to any petrol head. Put the car in sport mode and you'll be rewarded with aggressive gear shifts and razor sharp throttle response. The suspension and the steering firms up as well, and it adds to that satiating driving experience. You're not going to run out of performance on this car anytime soon. The way the car builds up speed is something else, and it can be addictive. The ride quality on the GLC43 is stiff. Now, it is understandable because it is a performance SUV from AMG. But when you couple that with the massive 20-inch wheels, the ride quality is not comfortable, even in the comfort mode with the softest suspension setting. The movement from the slightest of undulations on the road is going to be felt in your spine. The handling on the GLC43 is in tune with the AMG line of thought, but the steering could have been a little more responsive in general. It is deft, but not razor sharp. And yes, hard cornering will generate body roll. At a price of 76,70,000 rupees, the Mercedes-AMG GLC43 Coupe is just a tad more expensive than when it was first launched in 2017 at a price of 74,80,000 rupees. In terms of rivals, it goes up against the newly launched BMW X3M, which is priced at 99,90,000 rupees, and the Porsche Macan S, which is priced at 85 lakh rupees. The ideal rival to the GLC43 is the BMW X4M. But India has just the X4 at present. The X4M is not sold in India yet. The GLC43 offers solid performance and is practical too once you get used to the firm suspension of the car. It is big, bold and really fast, and at a price point of 76,70,000 rupees, few cars can match its presence and performance. This is the car to buy if you're looking for a proper performance SUV under a crore of rupees.
And that is a wrap here on CNB. Please react to all of what you've seen on today's show. You can reach me on Twitter at Sid Partnkar. And please promise me that you'll wear your seatbelts, wear your masks, and of course don't forget your helmets if you are on a bike. See you next week.